Hello YouTube, Film Buff 06 here, and this is the first Christmas themed movie review that I will remember doing on this channel. However, because I know a lot of people actually do like this film, this is going to be a controversial review / rant on the piece of Yuletide bullshit Christmas family comedy movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jingle All The Way, which is which was released in 1996 and was directed by Brian Levant. Yes, Brian Levant, the same lazy-assed motherfucker who directed the last movie I reviewed, which was Snow Dogs. Now, the plot of this movie is pretty simplistic. The story is of this workaholic dad named Howard, played by Arnie himself, who constantly lets down not only his wife Liz, played by Mrs. Tom Hanks herself, Rita Wilson, but also his young nine-year-old young son, named Jamie, played by Jake Lloyd, who of course we all know was Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars The Phantom Menace, but I'll get into that in a moment. In order to make things up to Jamie, Howard promises him that he is going to get the thing that he has always wanted for Christmas, which is this Turbo Man action figure, which, to be honest, is sort of a blatant rip-off of Buzz Lightyear out of Toy Story. Anyway, and also promises that he is going to somehow attend this special Wintertainment parade, which doesn't happen until towards the end of the movie. Anyway, the only catch is that Howard has left his Christmas Eve shopping, to the last minute, and on Christmas Eve, he makes it his job to buy this Turbo Man action figure for Jamie, but what he finds is that most of the Turbo Man action figures have completely sold out. So he desperately searches every toy shop in the country for a Turbo Man action figure, and from there all sorts of contrived, crazy, insane mayhem ensues. And along the way, Howard has a rivalry with two people, one of which is this postal worker named Myron, played by Sinbad, and the other is with his annoying next-door neighbour, Ted, played by the late great Phil Hartman. Now, I could go on for days about how much I hate this movie, about the many problems that I have with this movie, but I can't, because that will make this video too long, way too long. But anyway, here are a few of my problems with this movie. Brian Levant. The first problem is with Brian Levant. I mean, you're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me say this. You're gonna hear me say this one more time for just now. This guy is one of the worst movie directors to ever come out of Hollywood, and he deserved to win a nomination. To win a Razzie Award nomination for Worst Director for this film, you know. He just cannot direct to save his life, to be honest. Another problem is with the script. Not only is it written in such a crass and retrograde way, but it tries to be like this satire on how crass and commercialized Christmas nowadays is. But because the writers don't have a clue how to do this with the right wit and the right humour, it fails spectacularly in doing that. Another problem is with the acting. Well, apart from Jake Lloyd himself, who isn't too bad in this, the acting from everyone else is atrocious. Arnie completely wastes his talent here. Sinbad is so freaking annoying that he might as well be related to either Chris Tucker or the Wayans brothers. The late great Phil Hartman, who completely squanders his talents here, and Phil Hartman himself used to do some voice work on The Simpsons. In particular, he voiced Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz, who was the corporate lawyer. Rita Wilson is given next to nothing to do. And Jake Lloyd, as I've said before, he isn't too bad, and you're not going to believe this, but I actually do feel sorry for this guy because he would have gone on, because this kid would have gone on to have a decent, have at least a decent acting career, but a decent acting career, which makes, and it is sad that George Lucas dragged his talent and reputation through the mud by casting him in Phantom Menace. Another problem is with the ending to this movie. The ending is horrible. It's as if I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but the ending is horrible. It's as if the writers just, in the end, gave up and just completely ran out of ideas. And that's all that I have to say about this movie. I wish I could go into greater detail about how much I hate this film, but I just can't, you know. I just really can't. So in conclusion, what you have here is, my overall thoughts are, what you have here is horrible acting on the whole, lazy direction from a guy who, as I've said before, cannot direct to save his life, a satirical approach that just doesn't work, a sloppily written script, generic music, editing that is naffle, and one of the worst Christmas movies that I've ever seen in my life. You know, seriously, one of the worst Christmas movies that I've ever seen in my life, and one that isn't entertaining, that isn't at the slightest bit entertaining in any way, shape or form, and also unlikable characters really unlikable characters that you don't give a shit about. That was just before I forget. I mean, if you are serious about showing a film like this to young kids, just be my guest. I am not stopping you in any way. But otherwise, just avoid this like the plague. Avoid this like the plague. If you want a good Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy, just go and watch something like Kindergarten Cop. If I were to give this movie a rating, I wish I could give it a 0 out of 10, but I will be lenient and give it just a 1 out of 10. Just give it a 1 out of 10, and seriously, in conclusion, fuck Brian Levant, fuck this movie. This movie, if Santa sees this, it will go on his naughty list, and which it thoroughly deserves, and just let it crash and burn in hell. Now, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on Jingle All The Way. Plus, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And until my next video, whatever it may be, do take care, everyone. And ho ho ho, goodbye.